I spent 3 weeks investigating the most popular tea brands in America. I pulled independent lab reports. I cross-referenced university studies. I dug through FDA records. And I went through every sourcing claim these companies print on their packaging. What I found was disturbing. Most people think tea is the cleanest thing they put in their body. Ancient plant, hot water, simple, pure. That is exactly what these companies want you to believe. Because a 2019 McGill University study found that a single plastic pyramid tea bag, the kind sold by multiple brands in this video, releases 11 billion microplastic particles into your cup at normal brewing temperature. 11 billion. Per cup. Every single morning. And that is before we even talk about the pesticides. CBC Marketplace laboratory testing found multiple pesticide residues across the most trusted names in the tea aisle, including chemicals banned in over 80 countries. 7 brands, 3 weeks of investigation. Only 3 passed. The brand in number 1 is in 60% of American kitchens right now. Let's go through all of them. Perblague UN-safe brand number 7. Bilo Perblague. Bigelow has been family-owned since 1945. Ruth Campbell Bigelow started it in her New York kitchen. The colorful boxes, the constant comment slogan, 80 years of American trust. That story is true, and it is exactly why I had to investigate it. Here is what I found inside those boxes. Bigelow sources, conventional tea. That means the farms use synthetic pesticides and herbicides with no restriction. And unlike fruits or vegetables, tea leaves are almost never washed before processing. Whatever sits on that leaf goes straight into your cup. When I searched for published third-party testing, results from Bigelow, any independent lab data confirming their finished product is clean, I found nothing. No published testing, no batch-level verification, no independent confirmation anywhere. Their flavored lines add natural flavors after processing. The FDA does not require companies to disclose what is actually inside natural flavors. You're drinking an undisclosed flavoring system on top of conventionally farmed leaves with zero published safety testing. 80 years of family story. Zero published independent verification. Those are not the same thing. Pobrage, UN-safe brand number 6. Tazo Pobrage. Tazo launched in 1994 with one strategy. Make grocery store tea feel like a spa. Starbucks bought it in 1999 for $9.1 million. That connection gave Tazo the credibility no independent brand could buy. Then Starbucks sold it to Unilever in 2017 for $384 million. Here is what that sale actually meant. Unilever was not buying a sourcing philosophy. They were buying a brand name and the premium price point that name supports. Unilever also owns Lipton. 2 brands, 2 price points, 1 corporate sourcing infrastructure. Independent testing found multi-residue, pesticide issues in Tazo products, particularly in specialty blends where complex flavor systems pull ingredients from multiple supply chains at once. I looked at the ingredient list on their most popular blends: black tea, green tea, cinnamon, ginger, cardamom, licorice root, orange peel, natural flavors. Every single ingredient from a different farm, a different country, a different pesticide regulatory environment. Tazo does not publish sourcing by country, does not publish pesticide testing results, does not tell you which supply chain has been independently verified. You are paying $6 to $8 for aggressive branding and dramatic packaging. The sourcing transparency that would justify that price tag is not there when you go looking for it. Pobrage, UN-safe brand number 5. Celestial Seasonings. Pobrage's Celestial Seasoning started in 1969 in Boulder. Mo Siegel and Friends handpicked wild herbs in the Rocky Mountains. Original hippie tea company, 100% natural. The iconic artwork on the boxes has barely changed in 50 years. That story built half a century of trust. It is also the story a publicly traded NASDAQ company called Hain Celestial Group still leads with today, even though the handpicking in the mountains stopped a long time ago. Here's what I found when I investigated what the corporate transition meant for the product. Celestial Seasonings now sources herbal ingredients from global supply chains. Chamomile, mint, hibiscus, echinacea, each from different farms, different countries, different regulatory environments. FDA quality control letters have flagged pesticide residues and quality issues in their herbal teas multiple times. Sleepy time tea works. The chamomile genuinely helps people wind down. But when I searched for independent verification that every ingredient in every blend meets clean sourcing standards, I found marketing language where testing data should be. Natural does not mean tested. The gap between those two things is what my investigation found. Perbreg UN Safe brand number 4. Yogi tea. Perbrand Yogi built everything on purity, USDA organic certification, Ayurvedic formulas, inspirational quotes on every tag. Immune support, detox, stress relief. The organic certification is real, the wellness positioning is real, which is exactly why what I found in the FDA records hit so hard. In May 2024 last year, Yogi Tea recalled nearly 900,000 bags of their organic echinacea, immune support tea after pesticide residues above FDA action levels were found nationwide. Read that back, organic certified, immune support positioning, 900,000 bags recalled for pesticide contamination. When I investigated their explanation, Yogi blames supply chain drift, organic fields contaminated by conventional farms nearby. That explanation is technically possible. It is also the explanation that tells you their quality control system did not catch the contamination before the product shipped to consumers across the country. USDA Organic certifies the farm. It does not guarantee every finished batch is tested before it leaves the warehouse. The Yogi recall is the documented proof of exactly that gap. You paid the premium for the organic label. The label did not protect you. Perbreg. Unsafe brand number 3 Twinings. Perbreg Twinings has been selling tea since 1706. Over 300 years, they hold a royal warrant from the British monarchy, the official designation that they supply tea to the royal family. If tea is good enough for the King of England, it is good enough for your morning cup. That is the trust 300 years of heritage creates. And here's what I found when I looked past that heritage at the actual product. CBC Marketplace Canada's National Consumer Investigation Program conducted independent laboratory testing on major tea brands. Twinings came back with multiple pesticide residues in their finished products. The Royal Warrant is a supplier designation. It is not a safety certification. It confirms Twinings delivers tea to the royal household. It confirms nothing about independent pesticide testing. When I searched for published third-party testing from Twinings, I could not find it. They do not disclose sourcing countries beyond vague regional language. Their traditional paper bags can be bleached with chlorine, leaving potential byproducts in the tea itself. 300 years of heritage, a royal warrant, premium pricing, and no published independent pesticide testing that I could find anywhere. The history is real, the verification behind it is not. Perbreg. UN Safe brand number 2 Tetley Ploins Perbreg. Tetley launched in 1837, 185 years of tea. Now owned by Tata Global Beverages, the Tata conglomerate that also owns steel plants and hotels across India and the UK. When I pulled the independent laboratory data on Tetley, here is the number that stopped me. CBC Marketplace testing found up to 22 different pesticides in a single Tetley product. 22 in one bag of tea. Tetley's response when confronted with these results: everything tested within regulatory limits. That statement is technically accurate. It is also exactly the wrong answer. Here is why. Regulatory limits are set per compound, in isolation. Nobody has established limits for what happens when you combine 22 of those compounds in a single cup and drink it every morning. Scientists call this the cocktail effect. Regulators study chemicals one at a time. Your body receives them all at once. Some of those 22 compounds included substances banned in other countries. Tetley also uses CTC processing. Crush, tear, curl, industrial processing that concentrates whatever pesticide residue was on those leaves into the smallest possible particle, which then steeps directly into your water. 185 years of heritage, 22 pesticide residues in one bag. I contacted Tetley for a response. No reply. Perbreg, UN Safe brand number 1 Lipton Perbreg. Lipton, the yellow box, more American kitchens than any other tea brand. Sir Thomas Lipton started in 1890 with a genuine mission: affordable tea for working-class families. That mission worked. Lipton became the default tea for anyone who had not thought deeply about what was in their cup. Today, Lipton is owned by Ecoterra, a joint venture backed by CVC Capital Partners, a private equity firm. The working-class mission became a multi-billion-dollar private equity asset. Here's what my investigation found inside that yellow box. Lipton's pyramid bags, the ones that look premium. The ones at the higher price point are made from nylon PET mesh. Plastic. The McGill University study I mentioned in the opening tested those exact bags at normal brewing temperature. 11.6 billion microplastic particles per cup, 3.1 billion nanoplastic particles per cup. Into your water, into your body. Every single morning, microplastics have been found in human blood, lung tissue, and placental tissue. The long-term effects of 11 billion particles per cup are not yet fully understood. What the science does confirm is that the particles are entering your body. Lipton uses this bag format because it looks premium. It photographs well. It feels like an upgrade. You're paying more per box for premium appearance and receiving 11 billion microplastics per cup. On top of that, CBC Marketplace testing found multiple pesticide residues in Lipton samples. No published third-party testing. No disclosed sourcing by country. The brand that built affordable tea for working-class families is now a private equity asset delivering pesticide residues and 11 billion microplastics behind a yellow box that 60% of American households trust without ever questioning. That is number one. That is Lipton. Go check your kitchen right now. If you have any brand from this list, set it aside. The next three brands will show you exactly what to replace it with. Pembrague safe pick number 3. Red Rose. Pembrague Red Rose launched in 1894 in Canada. Affordable, widely available. Traditional paper sachets, no plastic, no nylon mesh, no microplastic risk. Here is the finding from CBC Marketplace testing that stopped my investigation cold. In CBC's independent laboratory testing of all major mainstream tea brands, Red Rose was the only brand that came back completely free of pesticide residues. Not the lowest count. 0. While premium brands like Twinings and Tetley tested positive for multiple residues, Red Rose at $3 to $4 per box returned a completely clean result. That is not luck. That is sourcing. Red Rose does not have the organic certification of the next two brands. What they have is a clean, independent lab result while brands charging twice as much were failing the same test. If you're switching from a mainstream brand and not ready to spend $7 per box, start here. Clean tea does not always require premium pricing. Pembrague's safe pick number 2, Traditional Medicinals. Traditional Medicinals launched in 1974 when trained herbalists decided that functional herbs deserve the same quality standards as pharmaceuticals. That founding philosophy is still the operating model. When I investigated this brand, it was the only herbal tea company I found that treats its ingredients like medicine rather than like beverage ingredients. Every batch is tested for pesticides, heavy metals, and microbial contamination before it ships. Not some batches, every batch. The methodology is published. The bags are made from unbleached abaca fiber. No plastic, no chlorine bleaching, no compromise on the material. The tea actually steeps inside. Here's the finding that stood out most in my investigation. Traditional medicinals tests for heavy metals in ingredients like ginger and turmeric plants that can accumulate heavy metals from soil depending on where they were grown. No other brand on this list does that. Most do not test at all, founded by herbalists. Tested to pharmaceutical standards, not grocery standards. Price $6 to $8 per box. That cost reflects testing every other brand is skipping. Pembrague's safe pick number 1, Numi Organic Tea. Numi launched in 1999 in Oakland, California. Founded by Ahmed Rahim and Reem Hassani, a brother and sister who grew up drinking tea in Iraq and wanted to bring genuine quality to the American market. When I investigated Numi, here is what I found that every unsafe brand on this list is missing. Published third-party testing results. Not internal testing, not a marketing claim. Independent laboratory results for pesticides, heavy metals, and contaminants published on their website, traceable to specific farms and batches. USDA certified organic across their entire line. Fair trade certified, and bags made from Manila hemp and plant fiber. No plastic, no nylon, no PET. 0 microplastic risk from the bag itself. Every problem I documented on this list. Pesticide residues, microplastic bags, undisclosed sourcing, missing verification. Numi has a documented answer for each one. Price $5 to $7 per box. Transparency and verified sourcing at a price that is reasonable. This is what safe tea actually looks like. This is the standard every brand should be held to. 7 brands, 3 weeks. Here's the pattern I found across all of them. Conventional farming with pesticide residues, nobody tests for. Plastic bag materials, releasing billions of microplastics at brewing temperature, heritage marketing, and wellness branding that builds trust without the independent verification to back it up. And in one case, a documented federal recall of an organic certified product while it was positioned as immune support. Lipton, Tetley, Twinings, Yogi, Celestial Seasonings, Tazo, Bigelow, replace them today. 3 brands that my investigation confirmed are clean. Red Rose, a completely clean pesticide result in independent CBC testing at a price every household can afford. Traditional Medicinals, the only herbal brand testing every batch to pharmaceutical standards before it ships. Numi published batch testing, organic certification, plant fiber bags, and 0 microplastic risk. The standard every brand should meet. Your cup goes into your body every single day. It should come from a brand willing to prove what is inside it. 3 of them just did. Subscribe if this investigation changed what you're reaching for tomorrow morning. Share it with one person who still has the yellow box on autopilot. Read the label, demand the testing, stay sharp, stay healthy.